decided I'd like to talk about why I self-published, as is everything in my life. Nothing goes normally. It always has to have some weird thing to it. And this does as well. So it's not the usual reasons. I sent 2 chapters to one publisher, and that's the only contact I've ever had with any publishers. They were Canadian. I liked that. They were run by women. I really liked that. They were promoting women's work. I liked that. And they weren't out to discover the next Hemingway. They wanted stories that, would appeal to people. And I wrote this book like that. It's not like I don't like literature. I love Shakespeare. I like Hemingway. But I didn't see this book as being all, literature. I just wanted it to feel like you were sitting with a friend and she was telling you naughty stories. And that's how I wrote it. So I also, in the email sent, wrote a blurb about that. Imagine you're with your friend. It's on the back of my book, right? And so I send this off, and a couple of weeks later, I got a very excited email back saying they were very interested, and they loved the chapters, blah, 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 blah. And when you want something really badly, it reminds me of the, not Epstein, I get them so mixed up, Harvey Weinstein thing, where somebody does something bad, but they're holding your passion, your opportunity to express your passion, your art, your creativity, sort of in their hands, and it probably makes you make bad decisions. And in this case, I definitely did. In that, the second thing they asked for was a bio and a picture. And I don't know why that was important to this process, but I didn't ask. Ask. I didn't. And I sent it without, and I like the bio itself was, I'm a playwright predominantly. I work in theater. And so my bio is all about theater and playwriting. And I had to rewrite it to be about, publishing, which I've had stuff published before, but so it was a very different bio for me. So it's not like something you could get on the internet and find in places. It was really new to me. So I was just excited because they were interested. And they asked me, do we have your permission to present your title to our sales team? Well, what harm could that be? I said yes, especially being that I think I had the title before I started writing the book. My dad was a jazz musician. My friend Lindsay always called me the jazz musician's daughter, and I liked it as a title. So, yeah, so off that went, I guess. So suddenly I started getting all these notices. Google alert, really, if you write, Google alert. I got these notices for my book, and to my horror, it was all over the internet. For me, it felt like, no, it was everywhere in terms of book selling places. And not only that, it had an upcoming release date of November 24th, 2024, which I didn't have. It listed it as 200 pages. It had its own unique IBSN number. You could pre-order it on Amazon, Google Books, and so on. And it was advertised as by this publisher. And so I was like, what the actual fiddlesticks is going on here? I hadn't signed anything with them or given them permission to do that, clearly. I hadn't even decided, I hadn't decided if I was going to use my real name or create a pen name. But there I was, all out there. Some of them in to book selling sites all over the world, and some of them included, well, they all included my name. Some of them included the bio that I had sent them, and they all had the write-up that I had written them in the original email. Now they changed a few words, but not very many. And I mean, I wrote that to pique their interest. So I talked to a lawyer. He said I had a case. Oh no, I'm on the wrong page. Should have numbered them. I did talk to a lawyer. That's on the next page. I sent an email to the acquisitions and managing editor and the publisher, asking politely, what the actual... I got an out-of-office reply from the publisher. The acquisitions and managing editor said something to the effect of, when we submit titles, we are presenting to the sales team. They often share the titles with other platforms like Amazon, etc., to get the ball rolling for pre-orders. Excuse me? And although the publisher sent an out-of-office reply, she emailed right away. And she said, I'm not sure why or how this happened. I will look into it tomorrow and get back to you. Now, these are paraphrased because I don't want to be in any trouble. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Oh, not good. Not good with me. One of them was a liar. I didn't care which one, because now I would never do business with them. So a month goes by, and nearly another. I think they said they would get a hold of me in April, and this was like the end of June. I just sent a short email out saying, basically, let me know if you've moved on from this book, or so I can, do that again. You're gonna have to delete a lot of this. So a month goes by. They said they would get a hold of me in April, and that was now, I think, the end of June. So I sent a short email saying, please let me know if you've moved on from this book so I can move forward with it. The reply was that yes, they have moved on from it. She was just waiting until all of the listings of the book were deleted. Sorry. They never were. Not all of them. Not even close. They still aren't. Oh, I'm going to Google this. Hang on. Okay, so it's still advertised at Majors and Quinn, Powell's Books, Kyobo Books, Japan, another bookseller in Taiwan, and also now Sutherland House Incorporated is claiming they've published the book. I'm perplexed. All I can say is none of these books have the cover on it. They all have no cover available and no ordering available. Still, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, so I did talk to a lawyer, and he said I had a case both for fraud and theft of intellectual property. I'm not sure how intellectual it was. The thing is, he said, these cases are really hard to win. And I'm not a fighter. I have no fight for love nor money. And I guess this comes under money. I'm still pissed off, but I'm not a drag 'em to court person. I talked to somebody else who was supposed to be smart in this area, and they said, "Oh, you need to change the name of your title of the book." And I'm like hell I am. I'm not upset that they didn't decide to go with it. I wouldn't want somebody publishing my stuff that wasn't committed or passionate about it, or at least mildly interested. But what really upsets me is I had not decided whether to put my name to it or not. And the worst part is, had I decided to make a pen name, any Google search would have led people to their books, not my actual book, which is on Amazon. And it's a memoir, like, you know, about lovers. I didn't really know if I wanted my name on that, but I had no choice at the end. I posted this story to a writing group on Facebook, and people went insane. There were like 130 replies, and people kept saying, "Who are the publishers? Who are the publishers?" Then the publisher came up with a really weird name in that it's really not obvious, or it's tricky to Google anyway. If you want to know, you Google it. But, and that's what I told them, because they kept asking me, saying, save other people from going through this. And I needed to write an email to Writers Beware, which I did, right? And I just told them the story. I've never checked it up. But anyway, people really wanted to know the name of the publisher. And the site is for people wanting to get published, so I get it. But that's how I found these people, was in this group, and that's why I posted it there. And I think one of them replied to something and then deleted it, and then put up a post about this situation and then deleted that. So and yeah, it was the second in charge. I'm sure she was saying, take it down because we don't want to be responsible, blah blah blah. So I finally said what I just said to you. I said, you know, you want to know who the publisher is, then Google The Jazz Musician's Daughter and see what comes up. And then they all started posting the name of the publisher. I didn't, but nothing I said was untrue, because I don't do that. But then they started posting where they found the book, and it was everywhere. It was like Amazon in Brazil and Italy and Ireland and Mexico and other publishers in Japan, and just weird places. And it was like all over the world this thing had gone. And I'm sure, like, another reason I didn't want to self-publish was to think that a lot of the publishers are, you know, you just eliminate the middleman. I mean, they have more clout for sure, but when you figure out what the difference of the royalties are, I don't know, you probably have to sell 12 books through a publisher for every book you sell on Amazon, and it was never about the money, so I didn't care about that. So yeah, I just thought I would just give this a go myself. I produce a lot of stuff, and, you know, the hardest part for me is the self-promotion. I work in the arts. I've been on stage. I do all that stuff, but I'm not like clamoring for the spotlight kind of person. It sucks, and I feel awful when I post something about it, and then I had I had people who were sabotaging it. They were just going on giving it 1-star reviews, and it took me a long time to get past to a reasonable star rating, because they were doing that, and that's their business. They can do that if they feel good sleeping at night. But I do want to give you a few tips about publishing on KDP and what I've learned, and I'm no expert. This is not technical stuff. It's more emotional stuff and what to expect when you publish a book, especially if you're writing a memoir or telling the truth or telling sex stories or whatever you're doing. So get your social media platforms going now, way before you publish your books. Start collecting people. Follow other like-minded people. Hopefully they'll follow you back. But start it now. Don't start it when you publish a book. Start it now. Get it going now. I can't tell you about a website because I still haven't figured out how to upload to my website. We changed servers and I'm not familiar with it. And I'm not sure how many people do website stuff anymore, but definitely do a page on, your social media platforms in the name of the book or whatever. Get excited when you first publish it because you'll feel like you're doing something really great. People will buy it and then they'll stop and there'll be a big lull. And I'm definitely in the lull and I've got, it's sporadic. It's not like it was, and I understand that, but I want you to know that. So don't, when it starts going at the beginning, it's because the people who said they would buy it, and so on. It's really hard to get it past the people and maybe the people that they know. It's really hard to get it past that all the way to people who you don't know buying the book. And that's when I think you're going to start being really successful. And I am not there yet. The people that you expected to buy the book, they don't. Like, a lot of them don't. People were so excited about this. Oh, I can't wait. And a lot of those people didn't buy the book. And then a lot of people bought the book that I would never have expected to buy the book. And so, if it's a memoir, don't rely on your family because they probably don't want to read a whole lot of that. And I'm not going to go into details about how to name people and how not to name people and what to do and how not to out people and so on. I did my best. Nobody's called their real name in it. So, and if you write a memoir, no matter how careful you are, you're going to piss somebody off. I have pissed somebody off. And it probably was the person I least expected. So that was a surprise. In the same breath, some of the people I felt I was a little bit hard on loved it. Like, they just loved it. And who knows? They're just chuffed at being included in the story, and they're phoning me and talking to me about it. And anyway, I didn't expect that. Also, I learned this in playwriting. Sometimes people will think that someone you're writing about, that you've changed their name, is them or someone else, and they're very sure of it, and they're usually very wrong. My first play, I had people come up to me and say, oh, I know this is this person. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. Anyway, expect that, and expect that people will feel exposed. I went and saw a play that my friend wrote, and there was a line in the play that was, oh, my line. It was like a classic Patty line. And I remember I was like 7 or 8 months pregnant, and I felt so exposed with that line. I felt like everybody knew it was me, and they don't. And I'm in the midst of doing an oral book, and my friend said to me, read it yourself. And I had just read her 2 chapters. She was the first person I'd read to. And we had such a good time with it. We had wine, and she laughed so hard I had to stop reading. And then she kept saying, did you put that in the book? And I said, yeah, because I really wrote it like now, like I'm talking now. And she cried, and I thought, well, that's pretty great. And then she told me that, and she's somebody who knows. And then I thought, well, you know what? I think I'm going to do it different. I'm going to do a reactionary thing. And so I'm in the midst of doing that. I invited a girlfriend over feed her some wine, and I read her a chapter. Now, it can't be somebody's already read the book, and however they react is part of the audiobook, is even if they stop and ask me questions, that goes in there, just for fun. And also, something different I did was each chapter, I've said this before, each chapter is about a different Mayan, and the number of the chapter becomes their name, like 7 or 12, but not up to 462. And then the end of every chapter, including the introductory chapters and the fouls, interceptions, and incomplete passes chapter, they all have a QR code at the end of the chapter. And if you follow the QR code, it takes you to a Spotify playlist, the music of that era, the music of that boy, that relationship. And so you can enjoy that too. I wouldn't recommend while you're reading it, but some people can do that. I cannot do that. I cannot have anything on in the background when I'm reading. And I think that's all I have. I just wanted to tell the story of why I self-published and why I never sent it to another publisher. This publisher ruined it for me, and I'm okay with that. It is kind of crappy, but I'm okay with that. And that is the end. The end. Oh, but I got something really cool today. I got my son and I these books, and they're titled It's Not My Problem Now Because I'm Dead. And they're end of life books that you can write, who gets what and what you want done with your stuff. I thought it was really funny, but really practical too. So I got that to do. Anyway, have a nice day, evening, night, adventure, whatever. And we'll see you next time.